Know this about doing stuff. Today I'm talking about why getting things done are important. I've been a clinical psychologist for 8 years, and this is what I know. Today I want to talk about one of the 4 basics of mental health. Doing enough is the 4th on the list of the basics that also contains sleep, eat, and rest. I want to talk about this as I often find that my clients get confused about this one. On one hand, doing things, getting things done, and being efficient is viewed as a part of a well-functioning life. But when we struggle or experience problems with mental health or well-being, it's often my experience that my clients let go of this. They might find themselves with stress symptoms or other symptoms of mental imbalance, and they want to cure themselves as quick as possible. Of course, it's not all my clients who do this, but some will, and they end up suffering even more. When we're in imbalance, it's normal to go a bit black or white or extreme in our attempts to correct or reverse our mental state. When feeling overwhelmed or imbalanced, some will try to rest it out. In essence, they go from being very busy, potentially also becoming imbalanced by not sleeping, eating, or resting enough and doing too much. They'll then try to go cold turkey from exerting themselves even the slightest in an attempt to get their normal balanced mind back. I often hear that they call it trying to fix their stress by resting it out. I see this in examples of staying in bed, watching TV, or doing leisure activities only. Some might also sleep more than what they do usually. My clients will believe that this passivity helps them correct their mind. They assume that doing nothing will lead them to feel okay again. In logics or math, this strategy would work. But for our minds, it's not about minus and plus. It's about having the correct balance of activities. What happens when we skip doing things or getting things done is that it puts us in imbalance. Just as well as doing too much will put us in mental imbalance. Doing nothing sounds like a logical cure, but instead, it just leads to further suffering for my clients when they try it out. Let me explain. When we are not okay, it's normal to try and fix it. If what we are doing to fix it is not working, usually because we try to do something that was never meant to work in the first place, or because we're doing too much of it, we'll become frustrated and get feelings of hopelessness. This is because we're doing something that's not working even though we thought it would. If this occurs, or when this occurs, we tend to get frustrated and blame ourselves and worry. If we're doing something we think it's going to work and it doesn't work, we'll often suffer more than before we started fixing it. This is due to us ending up feeling worse for having tried and failed. This lost reward, or the missing reward of our efforts, will lead us to feel hopeless and frustrated, and I see that for many it will lead them to have higher levels of anxiety or worry and becoming self-critical and depressive. Therefore, I know that it's important that I help my clients understand that doing nothing or resting it out is not a good cure for mental imbalance. That getting things done every day is important when you're not okay. When one of my clients is struggling with their mental health, it's the goal to make them feel normal again, for them to regain mental balance. I help them do this by getting the basics back into order. Enough sleep, enough food, enough rest, and enough doing. If they're skipping on the 4th basic, doing enough, they'll often find that they're unwell for longer or they feel worse. Most of my clients will be familiar with doing too much in their normal circumstances, and of course, my advice is not for them to go back to overstraining themselves. But when they're not okay, my advice is also not that they stop doing everything. What I do is that I help them understand that doing something every day is important. It's important as it helps them feeling accomplished and that they've been active. It doesn't have to be crazy a lot, as this will lead them to remain in imbalance due to doing too much. It might be that my client is taking a couple of days off from work or school due to feeling not okay. But in these days, my client will then make sure to get some laundry done, or to finish a late school assignment, or to attend to other practical matters such as cleaning, groceries, or repairing their bicycle. Doing something every day will make them feel mentally balanced quicker and get them back to normal more efficiently. Just staying at home and being passive sounds like it's going to work. Resting it out or sleeping it off sounds logical, but in my experience, it does not work. It usually just prolongs the suffering. So when we're not okay, keep in mind the basics. Sleep enough, eat enough, rest enough, and do enough. I think this was all we had time for. What was your takeaway from today's video? As always, feel free to take away the information you can use, if any, and leave the rest. Hopefully you found that today's topic made sense and I didn't waste your time. Please subscribe or like this video so my channel can grow. Take care and see you for the next one.